What'd you say?
Or did you just pile everything in the corner out of sight?
I don't know who you are.
Are you?
Hey, by the way, it goes live before it tells us we're live, so we could be live already. Like we're almost
Okay. Are you going live to the business page or personal page?
personal. We are going live now, I think. Boop. And I think I can put in the show notes. Boop. Gauge your audience. Boop. Setting up our live. How's the audio on my end? I almost think it'll be better if I put these in.
You sound good to me.
All right, we are live on Speakeasy with Jase. Welcome. This is Jase Souder, and it is November 19th, 2019. And my guest host is the wonderful, talented Diane Mooney. How are you today, Diane?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm awesome. So first thing, let's talk about that hat.
This hat. I don't want to say anything about the hat to you before I start. This is, what are these called?
There has to be a story behind that hat.
There is.
Okay.
And the story is my Dutch grandmother used to wear these all the time. And I was upstairs looking for something at my mom's house.
Uh-huh.
And I found a box of them with every color.
No way.
You could possibly think of. And
That's
so
amazing.
I have one of two options here. I was either thinking of making everyone who comes to Friendsgiving wear one.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Or just bringing
yes.
the beret back. Bring it back.
Can you put on a few? How hard is it to put on a few berets? Just to let us see it.
How hard is it?
Yeah, to put on a few, just so we can see how the gold one looks. I want to see the lame on you.
This one's like, this looks more like a Russian hat.
That's awesome. Now it looks like a pimp hat or a golfer hat, an oversized golfer hat.
It's fuzzy. I don't know if you can see. It's like made out of, it's clearly
amazing.
made out of an animal. The whole inside's leather.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's so cool. Animal. Wow.
We got some green for Christmas.
Tina Torres has tuned in. What's up, Tina? Hey, guys, if you're liking this, like and share the stream and hit that match button. Oh, that green one. I want to wear the green one.
You want the green one?
Yeah.
You have hot pink, though. That would look nice on you.
That is nice. Hot pink? Let me see.
Hot pink. There's red. Yeah, all sorts of colors here.
That is hot.
Yeah.
That is cool. I like that. What else you got?
That's all of them.
I love the idea of the Friendsgiving. That is cool.
Friendsgiving with beret hats. It'll be a
Grandma was cool.
French Friendsgiving.
Grandma was way cool.
Grandma was way cool. Grandma was, she grew up in Poland, and she was a displaced person during World War II.
Yeah.
And she was actually taken from her family and forced to work as a nanny and a house cleaner and a cook in a German household.
Really?
And when the war ended, when she was about 21 years old, after raising all of these people's children and taking care of them for years, they begged her to stay. And she said, nope, I'm leaving. I'm free now. And she left. And less than a week after she left, there was another bomb dropped, and it fell right on that house and killed everyone who lived there.
No way. Oh, yeah. How sad. How awesome for her. Yeah. How sad for them. Wow, yeah, that's trippy. Absolutely. Do what your grandma says. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll show you my new fashion as we jump into the week or the update. So I have a new shirt. Check out. Can you read it? It says, am I reversed? Is that why it's hard to read?
Trust the process.
Yes. Which is something we've said for years and years. And seminars, workshops, and they actually made a t-shirt out of it, which I loved. Trust the process. So the update that I want to share about today is I just got back from a 7-day intensive, and it was wildly impactful. And I don't know who's watching, if anybody. Can you see who's watching? Do we have people watching? Whoever's watching, good to have you. If you want to do some shout outs as we go.
I will. I'm sharing it out right now. So
cool. So I have some lessons I want to share with you guys that came out of my time there that was really impactful and cool for me, and that made a difference for me. And then some life updates for you guys, and then some fun stuff. And of course, we will play Pando as per usual. So one of the things I want to say that was really interesting to me. Oh, someone's bashing those love buttons. Thank you so much, whoever that is. So Tina says, wow, what an amazing story. What sucks? Okay, I went to that thing, and I brought only big, fluffy, comfy socks. So Tina, I have no fancy socks to show you this week. We don't. Are you wearing fancy socks, Diane? Do you have
I am
better
not
socks
wearing
on?
fancy socks right now.
Yeah.
No.
Today's kind of a down sock week for our sock game. And I literally, oh my gosh, so this is so funny. So at this place, you're not allowed to say what you do, right? And part of that is so we don't relate to each other as identity. And I think it's also secretly to help us let go of our limitations because of our self-identities like work, and to give us freedom. And it was really nice to connect with people and not know what they did, and to just meet them as people was super cool. But it was funny, we were guessing in our group what each other does. And so this one girl is from Italy, and she's so awesome. She's so cool. But I'm like, what do you think I do? And she's like, you're a tech nerd. Because I literally wore sweatpants every day. I'm like, I'm not here to impress anybody. And then she's like, or you know those guys who play video games and travel to play professional video games? You're a professional video game
You're
player.
a professional gamer?
And then she's like, nerd. But it all ended with nerd. Which I was like, well, that's cool. I wouldn't mind being a professional video game player. And I was also like, man, I need to get back to losing weight now because I'm looking too much like a professional nerd. So it was fun. So I want to share some different stories. First thing is, I want to acknowledge you, Diane, for your contribution to me. And I'll tell you what role that played. And by the way, guys, if you're watching, I keep wanting to tell you, set a reminder. We're every Tuesday at 11. And next week, we're going to have a special show. Here's a little plug. Next week, we're going to talk about how to survive the holidays and your families. So how to survive the holidays, some tools, techniques on communication, beingness, emotional state, so that you can get through the holidays. And if some of you have families like I have had, you'll need that training. So anyway, something that struck me that was very interesting is a fair amount of people that came to this event, their wife or husband had been and sent them, which I absolutely love. I just got some feedback. And then there was a fair amount of people too, though, who they said that everyone in their life would think it was crazy. And what was really amazing and awe-inspiring for me and was awesome was that my life has been set up that the people in my life support me. So one of the things I think that happens for people, and Diane, I'll share with this, like our conversation, and I'm going to share with you guys about the story of the first big personal development seminar I went to and how I almost didn't go. And then, anyway, I'll share about it in a minute. So I found out that I could have waited and gone the first week of December, but my schedule had opened up. I just planned to go to this thing, like 4 days before it started. I found out I could go, and I was having some second thoughts. And I said, Diane, what do you think I should do? And we're getting busy, and we just had a whole bunch of new people join Black Belt, which is our year-long coaching program. Side plug. We really only open it till January. Ideally, we have everyone start in January together when we have Dynamic Life. If you're interested in Black Belt, ping one of us. We'll get you info. So I was thinking about not going, and I thought Diane's going to say, Jase, we're really busy. We have a lot going on. Maybe it's not the best time for you to go. Instead, Diane says, Jase, you've had a lot happen to you in the last 4 months. And you've got a lot you're dealing with, a lot pent up. I think it might be just what you need right now. And I want to thank you, Diane, because my community is built around improving ourselves. And like, so Diane, who I work with, is like, you should go. And then Tom, a guy who told me about it, is like, go, it's amazing. My friend Troy is like, go, it's amazing. And then, you know, I posted in Black Belt, and I posted in other groups I'm in that I'm going, and all these people are like, yeah, awesome, let us know what I was. And like, as opposed to these people who deal with people going, why would you spend $5,000, $6,000 on a program? My life is full of people who are like, go, it's going to be awesome. So thank you to you, which you're on this side. Thank you to you, Diane, for the encouragement. It was fantastic. And I want to share with you guys some of what I learned, but I want to just open the space. Anything you want to say or share about that?
Yeah, just real quick, one thing I haven't told you about yet is that once you decided to go, it was actually after you had left, I sent out an email saying that you gave me the words for, saying, hey, I'm going to be at this, you know, and I sent that out from our system. So I got a lot of the replies. And I did forward them to you, but so many people were just coming back with replies saying, have an amazing time. We can't wait to hear about it. And so that was really neat to, you know, all week long get these responses that were cheering you on. And I was sending them to you in my heart. I was like,
yeah,
I hope
it was
you feel all the love and support, because there's a lot there.
That is so cool. Yeah, and I, you know, guys, one of the reasons she said I was, you know, sending to, but I couldn't read. I couldn't have my cell phone there or internet access for a week. And I got to tell you guys, by the end of the week, I really didn't miss it. Like, no, not seeing people bicker on Facebook and whatever else was. So I have a lot I want to share. One of the main things I want to share with you guys and talk about training pays. I hadn't gotten present to this. And by the way, I might get choked up multiple times in this call. I might not at all. I don't know. The reason I say that is like the dampers have been opened and I've been releasing so much emotion. I think I had probably the deepest breakthrough in easily 13 years besides being saved, but in the context of going to an event and growing, and probably one of the top two, if not maybe top five, maybe top two emotionally shifting experiences I've ever had. So one of the things I'm going to show you guys this. Diane was talking about a bomb being dropped. So one of the things we did, and I don't know what I'm supposed to share now. I'm sharing with you guys because you're my online fam. We did a map of our family and the stuff they've dealt with. So for instance, I don't remember what all the codes were, but like the blue things are emotionally trying moments and the red things were coping mechanisms. So my grandma, she had money crisis. She had, let me find this thing if I could find the codes for it. She had emotional neglect and abuse. She had verbal abuse because her husband was super abusive. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to give you guys an example. And her coping mechanisms were alcohol, and she had relationship compulsion, I think, and she had codependency, I think, too. And she was also like real all the time, right? So we're mapping this stuff out. And I'm going to jump into now why I think training is so powerful and to see it visual. So this right here, this is my grandma, right? Grandma Frances. So that's her stuff. And then here's my grandpa, my mom's dad, and he had big time rage, super controlling. Like if the towels weren't folded correctly, my mom was petrified and there was hell to pay. And so he was also, I believe he was alcoholic. I think he was sexually compulsion. I think he was full of rage. I think he isolated. I think he had chronic illness. Yeah, I know he had chronic illness. And I know he suffered from depression. And actually towards the end of his life, I'm not laughing like it's funny. I'm laughing like, oh, emotional release. He made plans at the mom, and I'm sorry if you're watching. I just want to share all this stuff. So if you're watching, I hope it's okay I'm talking about this. Anyway, so he went like over the county or state line and made plans with the mortuary there to take care of his body, and he shot himself in the parking lot. And like up against a telephone pole. And I don't mean to be graphic with this, guys. I'm not making light of any of this, but my point is, just in those two people I mentioned, there's a lot of negative dynamics going on. And so what I saw graphically is, and this is just grandparents, great grandparents aren't even on here. And then, so it's like these things accumulate. And so if you just look at the quantity of color, that's my dad, here's my mom, her sister, brother. And then here's me. It's kind of like a Plinko machine where you put the ball in and it goes down to the bottom. Well, if you take all these emotionally upsetting things, and if you take all these coping mechanisms, they kind of flow to the bottom, and then they accumulate here in my life. And so I was thinking about it when I was in my late 20s. I mean, I think I had undiagnosed depression on and off. And when I was in my 32, I went to my first real personal growth event, and I was in such a hard time. But what makes sense is just if all this stuff just flows down, and now I'm dealing with it, and I haven't been given the tools and mechanisms and skill sets to deal with it, then how am I going to deal with it? Like, as humans, this dynamic happens in most people's lives. And so most people are trained to deal with it by drinking or isolating or going to porn or binging or Facebook too much. And people haven't been given the real skill sets to deal with things. And so one of the things they said that I just love is they said that we are hurt in community, and so we heal in community. And I've always known, like, people are like, my passion, my heart is live events. And it's because I know that's where the biggest transformation happens, but I didn't have the language to explain to people why. And people are like, why should I go to a live event? Why can't I read a book? You weren't hurt by a book. Yeah, a book isn't what gave you the abuse. You were hurt by a human. And so it requires other humans to heal with. And I got that, like, that's why I love the work we do. Like, end of January is Dynamic Life. And Dynamic Life is the hardest event on me that I put on because it's so deep, it's so emotionally intense. Having said that, I was praying once and I was like, God, I can't do this event anymore. Show me how to do it. And what I got by the end of the event was I would never do that event for money, but I would always do that event for what it does in people's lives. And so, so Dynamic Life is such a passion. So my point about all this is the work works. And and I was thinking about this, and this is like, for those of you who are speakers or want to be speakers, here's your call to action. Here's your call to arms. I was wanting to change, and I didn't know how to change. And I think I was embarrassed to go to therapy, which I think is ridiculous. I think therapy is great for everybody. And a guy got on stage and he talked about how to change your life. And he was talking about, I was at a real estate boot camp, and he talked about how to change your life. And none of it was about real estate. None of it was about making more. It was all about making more money, but none of it was about real estate. It was about changing your subconscious programming, learning how to sell. And I went to that event, and it was like I got my dreams back. And then 2 weeks later, I went to the Landmark Forum, and that like blew away my old limits. And I went for 2 years. I did what I think is the current modern day, what's it called when people go to Mecca, like they pilgrimage. I think the current pilgrimage of the soul that people are doing, instead of going to Tibet or something, they're plugging in with deep personal development trainings for 2 years. And what I'm seeing more and more people do is they're seeking them out. And so what I want to say to you guys is, because I have done the work, and this is not me bragging, this is me confirming the work I've done, the work you're doing, the work you will do. And if you're someone who's a speaker, the importance of what you're doing. Like Kimberly Bacca's on. Hey, Kim. Kim helps people like heal through their food and heal emotionally, spiritually as well. So if you take this stuff, like, I've wiped away a lot of this. And so if I have kids, they get to come into a clean sheet, or at least a much cleaner sheet. When they graph this out, there might be a whole lot of icons, but when it comes to my row, there's going to be a lot fewer. Now, I want to be clear, no matter how good a parent you are, your kid's going to get screwed up. It's just the way human beings are built. They're going to have something to do with. What?
It's real.
Anything you want to share?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
No.
Yeah, they might watch this.
Failing as a parent is something I do often, but it's nice because kids are, their filters aren't there yet. So when I fail, they point it out real quickly. And I get the chance to correct those actions or emotions or feelings. And so, yes, they definitely parent me a little.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? They're going to get messed up, but that's why there's programs, there's seminars, there's therapists, and that's why I just tell them you love them and do your work on yourself. And also, this graph, so many people say if you want to be better in a marriage, work on yourself. If you want a better kid, work on yourself. Well, because, and I see graphically for the first time, when you get rid of this stuff, your kids are inheriting less. And then in the Bible, whether you believe in Christianity or not, it's actually, I think, Old Testament. It says the sins of the father are carried out to the third and fourth generation. Well, therapists say family dynamics or unhealthy behaviors are carried out 3 and 4 generations. And it just makes sense. If you have a parent whose way of dealing is drinking, you probably learn to drink. Or if a parent who's a rageaholic, then you probably learn to hide or have rage. And then that's how you raise your kids. And then until someone does something or dissipates. So on a very non-woo-woo spiritual level, doing the work makes a difference in your lineage. And actually DNA can change if we really want to go deeper. So I'm proud of the work I've done, and I'm super excited about it. And I want to show you another drawing. We drew our wound, like a representation of our core wound, and this was mine. And it's kind of a dude in the shadow, and what it meant was, like, if you can see in there, like his heart has been rended, and so like this blood is like coming out, and there's a lot of pain there, and like he's the background, like, will he ever get, that's me, like, will he ever get will he ever get the love he wants? Is he just always going to be in the shadows, right? And what was really cool, I had this like taped up on the wall where we were doing our small group work. At the end of the week, I looked over and it looked like a rose, and I was like, because I really believe this, guys. Your greatest work came out of your greatest wound. Ooh, I've never said that. Will you write that down for me, Diane, please? Your greatest work comes out of your man, that just hits it so perfect. I teach this in my speaking, but I've never said it so clearly. Where we're wounded is where we either cave because of it, or it's where we learn to be stronger. And because we're stronger, we can then share that with the world. And even if you're doing business training, you're not selling business training. What you're selling is the mindsets and the emotional shifts that allowed you to implement the things in your business to have your business thrive. So for me, this core wound, and I knew this going into this week, it's really served me in the world because it's caused me to do the work I wanted to do. Now where I am with it, though, I really see that, like, it's my rose for the world. It's my blessing for the world. And this guy's not in the shadow. I have huge breakthrough with I can have what I want, and I am loved, and I am enough. And just I was, my baseline of life used to be I'm unwanted, unloved, and that was dissipated when God moved in and I had some big breakthroughs. But now it's like a whole nother level. And what I really left with is I just want to love people more. And I love the speaker training, and what was kind of tugging at my heart was doing more of the personal growth stuff. It's just so important. And it's there's nothing more important than that, than someone leaving behind a rape or an abusive parent, or, you know what I mean? I don't know if anything, other than people knowing God, being saved, going to heaven, but other than that, on this plane, I don't know anything that's more important ever. Any questions, any thoughts? And let's see who's tuned in also. Kimberly, Baca, it's so good to have you. Baca, it's so good to have you in. Who else is commenting? My mom looks like she's watching. I hope those okay. Marianne's on. Hey, Marianne, it's good to see you. Dan, any questions, thoughts on any of that stuff?
No, I was going to say, I do think it's really neat, the trend that's happening, because I remember looking into programs early on how to grow your business, or how to get what you want out of life, or those kinds of things. And they're always, at least they used to always be blanketed by some other goal, right? You know, it's like the ultimate weight loss program. And
Yeah.
then you look into it further and it's like, nope,
Yeah.
fix your inside and your outside will fix itself. Or, you know, how to do better in your business. And it's like, fix your inside and your business will fix itself.
Yeah.
And it feels like we're finally coming to a place where they're on that self-improvement piece, and that's coming to the forefront, and you don't have to blanket it so much with how to do better at this or that, and the real answer is inward. So.
Yes, it's so awesome. And it's awesome. I mean, to be straight, we offer dynamic life in the context of flowing on stage, but frankly, dynamic life came out of doing just personal growth seminars for years and years and years. And so the other thing I wanted to say to those of you watching who've been doing a lot of work, and to myself, is sometimes we lose track of how far we have come. And what I mean by that is, like, I really got, and sometimes I want to qualify it and go, oh, my life's not perfect, but screw that portion. I really got, like, my life is really great. Like, I am blessed. I have people that support me. My work is incredibly fulfilling. My work, like, people talk about, they want to make a difference. I make a difference in the world. Doing okay on money. I live in a place I love. I have this awesome dog. I'm getting more and better friends. And my big thing I wanted out of this was richer, better relationships. And I'm noticing myself being more present. I think I was present already, but even more present and more just like, I put a post up yesterday that the more I grow in love, the less fear I have, or maybe it was today. And it's a Bible quote that when we have that, it's a perfect love casts out fear. And what I got was, you know, as I love myself more and I moved through some traumatic spaces and got rid of them this last week, I'm not afraid of rejection or whatever more. I can connect with people deeper. It's kind of like when I started doing martial arts, I felt like I could handle myself better. And that let me trust more, actually, and physically move closer and emotionally move closer because I knew I was safe. And the more I'm healing myself as a human, the more safe I am to be vulnerable with other people. And so it really just left me wanting to love people more and to show more kindness and compassion. And you know what I mean? Just
absolutely. And speaking of human connection, Bob Donnell just joined and he says, way to go, brother.
Hey, Bob Donnell. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's awesome, right? Like, my friends are like people who change the world, like Bob Donnell, you know?
Yeah.
Now, for you guys who are just beginning this journey, it takes a while. And I've spent, this last event was $5,300 plus travel, so $6,500. That's a big chunk, plus a week off of work. But man, I'm so clear that with who I am now and my like I have a call with someone later on today who's interested in black belt, and I was just like so easy to say, wow, I'm really looking forward to talking to you. And the space I'm going to talk to her from isn't some sales space. It's really this next level of compassion, and buys or not, she's going to feel loved on. And like, it's going to be awesome and so good for her. And I have a feeling she's going to buy something, and I'm going to make way more than that money because of the work I've done. Does that make sense? So, I don't know. It's awesome. So Jolene just chipped in and said, Jase, you inspire me. Thank you. Remind me all the time of kindness. Thank you, Jolene. Jolene has a good story to tell. She came through our speaker training years ago. So I have notes of things I want to share with you guys. So I want to tell you the story of my first event, and then I want to tell you what happened on this event. So my first event, I bought it, and typically between buying it and going, life happens, and then we're like, oh, I don't know if I should go. And I've seen this happen so many times. Like, I just heard someone that I know bought a product from a friend, and 2 weeks later they're having second thoughts and they want a refund. Don't refund, you guys. Stay in what you buy. Go to anything personal growth oriented. Do it. It will pay off. So I wasn't going to go, and I hadn't been to any personal growth at this point. So I bought the seminar like December 2001, and now it's February 2002. And I put on this event at the Orlando Museum of Art, and it's the biggest, best event I've ever done in my life. Oh my gosh. Diane, I think talk for a second, will you? I think I have pictures of this. Buy some
Talk
time.
for a second.
Buy some time. Well, that's really great.
Yeah, I have so much to say.
Go ahead.
You won't believe how much work I got done this week. That was just administrative, boring work. It was so great. I was so on task.
What allowed you to get so much done? Less distractions?
Yeah, there was some less distractions for sure.
That's funny. Oh my gosh, that's really funny.
And you wouldn't believe it. Jase cleaned his whole house so beautifully before he left. It was amazing. Because I saw it the day before he left, and then I went there like the day after he left, and he had it like perfectly clean.
Oh, total. I gotta show you this. Total non sequitur. So I learned. What's the Asian woman's name who does the organizing stuff? I learned how to fold clothes her way.
Oh, good.
And now, and you have
Was
to
it
fold
Trinity
them.
that taught you that?
No.
Oh, okay.
We'll share about it later. So you got to fold them so that they have the structural integrity to stand up on their own.
Nice.
Everybody at home is like, what are you guys talking about? Marie, whatever her name is.
Yeah, because then when you stack them in the drawer, you can see each one. But if you pull one out, they won't fall down.
So
it's important.
I found the pictures. So let me do a screen share with you guys. This is going to be so cool. So, all right. So I was on the board of what's called the Associates at the Orlando Museum of Art. And we would put on a party the first Thursday of every month. You guys should probably have a First Fridays or something in your town. Well, we had that too, but we also had First Thursdays. And this was 2002. And so we were on the cutting edge of like really getting this thriving art scene going in Orlando. And I was the vice president of the Associates. And so I chaired one called Carnival. I came up with the theme. I came up with everything. And so I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. Photos. Let me see if I can do this. Share. Boom. So this was the theme. It was Carnival. How does that look on the screen? Can you guys see it okay? Can you see that, Diane?
I'm going back to it. When you opened it, it went into full screen on mine. Oh, it's not to Facebook yet. There
okay, so I could see it. I came up with this theme, and it was Carnival because it was about like celebration in Mardi Gras, and then also in like Brazil. You know how they have Carnival. So I'll just click through some of the pictures. So like, you know, we had these masks for people to wear. And I had stilt walkers from Universal Studios. This professional photographer was there, and he took all these pictures. We had this band was a Brazilian band, and they were playing in the back rotunda. And what was really cool about these guys is they had musical instruments that people could play. So if you see in her hand, she's got like this shaker, and this woman's got one. And so everybody could play along with the music. And people were having so much fun. Like there's the full band. And then in the back rotunda, I had a Zydeco band playing. So I had seen a Zydeco band. So we have two bands, and you know, one's like that Cajun Zydeco, the other one's the Brazilian one. My friends owned a Cajun restaurant, and they did a live crawfish boil. I got in touch with Universal Studios, and I got Universal Studios to give stilt walkers to us for free. Like this thing was a thing. Like I put tons of hours into this. By the way, I tell this story a lot too, and I tell that well, I don't tell this story actually, but anyway, I don't tell all of this story. I tell parts of it. I got in my head because I was thinking I tell parts, but I don't tell the part I'm going to share with you guys that often. So, but a thought that I had looking at the studio, the Universal Studios people, is I put a lot of hours into this, and there was a buzz. Like, people knew this was going to be a big deal, and they set up overflow tents in the front of the museum for the first time ever. And the museum made all this money. And this is when I was like, totally, this is a period of life I made like $2,000 in 6 months. And I always ask people when I'm telling the story, like, you know, you ever make everybody else money but yourself? That was definitely me back then. And so this was the greatest event I've ever done. And I mean, you just get an idea of it. You just kind of see from people's faces, you know, people were having fun and the vibe was great. I got a gobo, which is, you know, here's the stilt walkers like dancing. I got gobo, which projects an image up on the front of the museum. I don't think it'll come out. Yeah, no. But it was amazing. It was the greatest thing I've ever done. But I don't know if you guys can see my face, but that was me in 2002. But there was like, I don't know. When I look at it, the look in my eye is different. There wasn't a peace. There was a searching. So what I don't have pictures of is outside the museum. Here's a picture of the museum, but you don't see it. Outside the museum, I had those, do you know those like those waving things like they have outside of car lots? It's like a sock with a fan in
The
it.
wiggle
Like,
things.
yeah, those dancing man statues. So I had a car lot donate those dancing man like sock puppet things. So I mean, I did it up, right? And so I'm cleaning up at the end of this. And remember, I'm telling this story in the context of going to my first seminar. Well, that first seminar was $1,500 and I wasn't going to buy it, but the guy was so good at sales. I got up out of my seat and my mom grabbed my jacket and she goes, "You're not going to buy it, are you?" But he was so good at speaking in the face of her fear. And I had never spent like more than a couple $100 for an event. I got up and I went and I bought his thing, but then life is happening. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go. And I had been a flight attendant. And so I was used to flying free. And so I waited to book my tickets and they were like $700. And in 2002, $700, a lot more than it is now. And then it was my first time booking tickets online and I'm supposed to fly out on a Friday. I booked them wrong and I booked them for Saturday. And so the airline wanted to charge me $1,000 to change them from Saturday to Friday. I mean, nowadays I would have probably just booked a brand new flight, but I wasn't going to go because of all this stuff, right? And, you know, I don't want to pay I've already paid, you know, 700 and I got to pay extra 1,000. I'm like, I don't know if I really need it. And I'm like, I'm not going to go, blah, 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 da, da, da. So I'm cleaning up at the end of this thing and I'm telling this story to hopefully inspire someone to show up for what you paid for. And I'm cleaning up and it's the greatest event I've ever hosted in my life personally. And who's helping me? It's the museum staff, my mom, and 2 new acquaintances. And all my friends were like, "See you at the bar." And I remember I'm kneeling down, putting this thing away. And I'm like, this is not the life that God has for me. What is that life? And how do I get it? I'm like, all my friends are, my mom and 2 acquaintances are helping me. That's it. And I'm like, this is not it. And it was such a deep pain that was the pain that made me commit. And I said, what can I do? How can I change I have got to do something to change my life. And then this little voice goes, well, you bought that seminar, you might as well go. So because of that super painful moment, I'm like, I've got to go. So I paid the extra grand and I went and my life changed. It was like I got my dreams back. And because of that, I came back and I was talking to this guy who was on the board of the associates. I said, man, I just had this amazing experience. And he said, I'm going to this thing called Landmark. I said, what's it about? He goes, I don't know. It's good for business. I called them up and 2 weeks later, I was in their course. And it was one of the greatest things I've ever done for my life, period. But those 2 events, those 2 seminars got me on the path of personal growth. And all that year, I did both companies' advanced programs simultaneously. And now 17 years later, I'm still doing programs and my life keeps getting better and better and better and better. And so what I want to share is a story of what happened on the way home. So now I've paid this extra $1,000. I've put the money in. I've done what it takes to get there. Yeah. Kim, I'm going to read the comments real quick. Kimberly says, I remember you connecting with me not too long after and why you were seeking a new level of life with an open mindset. We're here to serve and make a difference. We are. Hey, Christy Masters joined. Nice to see you. So, so on the way back, and I really believe this, guys, when you step up, God rewards you. You will be rewarded. So on the way back, I was in on the flight to Salt Lake. It was when the Salt Lake Olympics were going on. I met the guy, and I'm sitting next to the guy who painted the paintings that they used as the images on the tickets for the Winter Olympics. So that was pretty cool. And then I'm like, I should stay. Maybe I should go to the Olympics. But you know, I didn't just have I wasn't a flight attendant. I couldn't just jump off. I'm like, God, send me a sign what I should do. So I go to my gate and I said, do you guys need anyone to give up their seat? And the woman said, yeah, we'll pay you $500 and we'll book you a flight for 3 hours from now. I said, I'll take the $500 and book me a flight for 3 days from now. I'm going to the Olympics, baby. So I went to the Olympics, and I want to show you this. So this is, I don't know if you can make these out, and these are pictures from the closing ceremony at the Olympics. So I mean, this is back before digital cameras, right? These was film. But they had like these dinosaur things they wheeled out. And yeah, so I got to go to the Winter Olympics and see some of the games at the Winter Olympics. How cool is that? I mean, here, boop, boop. So here I am at the Olympics on my way back. And it was just like, I love the look in my eyes in this picture a lot more than the look in my eyes in the other picture. And it was just such an amazing experience. So here's part of the reason I'm sharing all that is I want to share with you what happened on the way back from this last event I went to. So have I overtalked? Are you still with me on all this?
No, I'm still with you on all of that. I was actually thinking my sister was living in Park City during the Winter Olympics.
Oh, really?
And I was supposed to go visit her, but it was just too crazy of a time. Really? I would have been there the same time as you.
That would have been awesome. So let me recap all this. So I go to the Olympics, I go to the event, I get my dreams back, and then I get $500 of the change fee back and credit for giving up my seat. And then I get to go to the winner of the Olympics. More importantly, it kickstarted my life to be so much better. And I started like just making a lot more money and being happier. And a couple years later, I started Life Tigers. So this event, you know, I had second thoughts, and then Diane really encouraged me to go, and so I went. So on the way back, I decided to stop in Houston to visit somebody. And this is where I think I got rewarded again. One of the things I went to this event to get is God gave me this. So I have profitable presentations, which is training for everyone, no matter race. Well, anything I do, I don't care what race, gender, sexual orientation you are welcome in my room, and you're safe and you're loved. Having said that, Profitable Presentations is marketed to the general public. What God laid in my heart is to start a podcast about sales, marketing, and mindset for Christian business owners, and then to do similar training to what we're doing here, but market it to Christian business owners called the Profit Factory. I don't know if it was last week I shared this, but I was in a mastermind a week ago or so, and I said, you guys, I have to do this Profit Factory thing. It is weighing on my soul. And I actually was pissed off about it, and I'll tell you why. And this guy walks up, he goes, Jase, and he pulls out his journal from 2012. And in the journal, he had where I wrote that I wanted to do the Profit Factory. So he actually had it in there from 2012 that I had been talking about Profit Factory, and I had made no progress on it. By the way, is the video okay on your end, Diane?
It is good on my end. It seems like
it's slow over here. I'm wondering if I should call in, if that would help it be better.
No, it doesn't seem slow on my end.
Okay. I might call in I think I'm going to do it anyway. So any questions on any of that stuff that we're talking about so far?
Doesn't look like from me or the audience. Kimberly says she loves the story about the Olympics. So amazing.
Who said that?
Kimberly Baca.
Oh, thanks, Kimberly. That's awesome. Hold on. I'm going to switch to phone audio. Give me 1 second. All right.
There we go. So I'm on my phone now. So, okay. So this event, I had, and it reminded me, a lot of things felt like they've been coming full circle. And one of the things I went to this event to get was the Profit Factory. Like I went to that mastermind. The guy shows me I haven't worked on it in 6 years. I'm like, I have got to do that. So my two big goals were deeper, richer relationships and to do the Profit Factory. And I had some breakthroughs here that were huge. And there was like a fair amount of Christians who were there that were doing personal growth. And so I was like, all right, because 15 years ago, Christians and personal growth didn't seem to mix. Well, I wasn't a Christian yet, but even 10 years ago, there weren't that many Christians. And now there's a bunch seeking it out. And something I learned for those of you that are coaches on here, that are holding intensives, a lot of the people that were there got there because they found it online. And that showed me that personal growth is getting to such a stage that people are like seeking it out on their own accord and they don't know where to go. And so that really showed me like there's a lot of opportunity to harvest right now. So
Absolutely.
now let me tell you about Kanye was pissed off. So if you guys have seen what Kanye's doing, he's doing these Sunday services. He's having thousands of people attend. And just for a second, whatever religion or whether you believe in God or not, just set that aside and hear this as a calling on my life, not just not a religious calling, okay? Like Diane doesn't believe like I do. We don't all have to agree. Let's just hear it for the lesson for you. So I was pissed when I saw this stuff about Kanye. And the reason I was pissed is I was pissed at myself because I'd had this vision of the Profit Factory for at least 6 years. And if I had done it, I could have had things already in place. I really think a big wave of revival and Christianity is coming. And so like people like Kanye and then Brad Pitt is sharing the space and stuff like, I could have been positioned already in the market as the leading sales marketing training company for Christians, but I hadn't done the work. Is this making sense so far? So I was pissed, not at Kanye. I was pissed at myself that I hadn't done the work and that I had been scared. So I get these breakthroughs with it this week, and I'm like, it's a done deal. I'm doing this thing. I saw that Christians want it. I saw that Christians need it. And the parts of me that were afraid of criticism and whatever, I don't know, they're just gone. And it just reminded me of how much it's needed to make a difference in the world. So I'm like, I'm doing this thing. So now I get this breakthrough, and I'm flying back. But instead of going right back to Boise, I decide to go visit someone in Houston. And now here's where a crazy chain of events comes to. And so my group, last week I had downloaded on my phone Kanye's new album. It's like the #1 album in the country, and almost every track is top 10. So I downloaded it, but I hadn't listened to it. And then my group from the event I went to, they wanted to do a group me, which is an app where you can all communicate together. It's like a form of a texting app. So I haven't looked at group me in forever. I really don't use it, but I opened it up, and a guy I met in Uganda this last summer on a mission trip. So get this chain of events. I get a Breakthrough Profit Factory. In large part, I was inspired to like get my ass in gear by Kanye, seeing what he's doing in the world. And then my group starts a group me. So I go on group me. I see a post by a guy I met in Uganda on a mission trip who lives in Uganda. And it was a post talking about what Kanye's doing. So then I get in the car with my friend who picks me up in Houston. And I said, I was going to play music. I said, what do you want to listen to? And she's like, whatever. And I said, how about Kanye's new album? And she goes, oh, my cousin played with Kanye in church this morning. I'm like, Kanye's here in Houston? And she's like, yeah. I didn't know he was in Houston. So I'm like, is he doing a nighttime concert? And she's like, I don't know, but I doubt we can get it, whatever. So like, I Google it, and the first article says, Kanye concert delayed by an hour. And so he's doing a concert at Joel Osteen's church, which is like in an old basketball arena. So I'm like, we should go. And we're heading that way, kind of towards where we're staying, but also that way. And I'm like, let's go. So we drive, we get a parking space that's like right there, somehow miracle. We walk in one door and the guard's like, you can't come in. So we go in this other door, we walk right in, and I'm freaking in Kanye's concert in Houston. So here I am being inspired by him. And then I am in Houston at his concert. Jesus is King. And so there we are at Kanye's concert. And it was unbelievable. Like, what's the chances I would be inspired by this dude, kind of pissed off into taking action, and then group me by my group, a group me post that gets me to talk about it, that gets her to mention her cousin, and there we are. Like, the whole time I'm sitting there going, I can't believe we are here. And it was just a celebration. If you're somewhere he's doing that show, I wish I could get the I wish you could see it, but it was just like an awesome, awesome show. It was amazing. But it reminded me of when I got to go to the Winter Olympics and how I was rewarded for taking action. And there I am with Kanye. Unbelievable. It was so cool. You're like saying nothing. It's better when we're in the same room.
I'm just listening. It's a great story. I love how happy you look in those pictures.
Oh, I was like, what's the chances of all that lining up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now here's another lesson. Kanye is doing some big stuff in the world, and he potentially, maybe he's big enough he doesn't have to, and he could face some backlash. But he's speaking his truth. And one person with talent, skills, and ability that's willing to speak their truth is creating a movement. And I want to use it for whatever your movement is. If you will speak your truth, and if you will learn to be excellent, you can start a movement just as big and just as powerful. I'm also speaking to myself here with Profit Factor. I think that's going to be a movement. So that was awesome. And I want you to be okay with your truth. And then totally, this seems non sequitur, but it's not totally non sequitur. One of the things that I have a passion for is I want to bring more love to the body of Christians, and I want to bring personal development to them. And so recently I met someone that I thought was a dude, and turned out it was a fully transitioned transgender woman to man. And this man now has a wife. And I got to sit and talk with him about how can we make the church safer? How can I make my seminar room safer? And what's disempowering to his beliefs and what's empowering. And it was really interesting. And one of the things that he said that I had not thought about before was that at least the people he's working with and him, they don't have some agenda to get people to do this. They want people to be their true selves. And he said that what could happen, I said, what about that 7-year-old that people are trying to transition? He's like, that's crazy. And no good doctor in the world should ever do that. But what he did say is they can put hormone blockers in at a young age and give the kid more time to decide. And I was like, I think he saw my face. I'm like, why would they want to do that? He said, well, the reason that's important is if a kid, say, is in a woman's body or girl's body and feels like they're really meant to be a man, and then breasts and everything else start to develop, then there's even more of a message, it's not okay to be you. And the suicide rate among people like that is much, much, much higher than the normal. And that got me thinking, like, that's, you know what I mean? And I don't know what's right or wrong in Christian terms and all that, but I know that if there is a high suicide rate, then that's a marker for something. You know what I mean? And even if it's just giving kids time to figure it out or the right counseling or whatever, I don't know. It just got me really thinking. And the thing I got to that he said, he's like, look, I'm not some monster and I don't have an agenda. I'm just a person and I want people to like have great lives. And I was like, that really works. And I see all these people in Christian circles and the far right and all that stuff, and people have become so entrenched and positioned, and it's just not right. It's I don't think that's how God wants us to treat each other. And do we want to have a 7-year-old kid transition? I really don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate either. But not being afraid and being able to talk, I think that's really important. So it's kind of I don't know what I would bookmark that under for you guys. It was something that really stood out for me and was really important to me. So, any thoughts? You're so quiet over there.
No, it is interesting, having young children. Both of my kids go to alternative type schools. One of them goes to a public international charter school, and the other goes to a public Waldorf uh, charter school. And it's interesting to see my children expressing ideas that I wasn't even thinking about at their age, and they're able to articulate it better than I could, better than I can even now at this age, and I'm just one of those firm believers that children really have the ability to figure things out and to come up with their own processes for finding self. And sometimes I feel as adults, we try to contain that, but being able to let them fully be themselves, I think helps them grow more than anything else that we can do, And so, I am not in the situation where either of my children feel like they need more time to decide, but I'm glad that those processes are put in place if, I was in that situation as an option, to just try to help in the best way that I could. Because for me, it's about raising healthy, happy people first. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, Christy just said, I love the idea of having more conversations. We tend to be afraid to have conversations with people who may think or believe differently than ourselves. We don't always have to agree, but having a better understanding can only lead to more love and compassion. Absolutely. My mom is Diane Souder, for those of you wondering. I don't know about others, but I know for myself, if I'm really pondering what someone has been saying, I get quiet. Never wanted to be misunderstood, rather just the person, the words has such a gigantic effect on me. Thanks, Mom. So here's what I will say, though, and I'll say this specifically to Christians and then to everybody. If you make someone wrong, it makes it really hard to make a difference in their life. And so if the way you approach someone is, no, you shouldn't be that way, boy, if your mission in life as a Christian is to help people know Christ and you're just making people ashamed left and right, you're never going to reach them, ever. You're going to have people running from God. And then for those of you that are coaches, trainers, speakers, authors, you always want to give people the chance to save face. And you have, especially in sales, you have to come from a position that wherever they are currently is okay, even if it's a no. And then from that space, you can communicate, perhaps make a difference with them. But it's like sometimes as coaches, we want people to be the outcome of the coaching when they begin the coaching program. And that's just, thank God they're there, even the difficult ones, because they've committed to the program because they want something more. So that's kind of what I got there. So anyway, side note, I'm in Houston and there's no Dunkin' in Boise, and we're not sponsored by Dunkin'. But Dunkin', if you'd like to sponsor, I have drank iced coffees every day I've been here.
And every road trip we go on, there's always a special Dunkin' stop.
Well, yeah, because they don't have it in Boise, which is a travesty of justice. Now, talk about making things wrong. That's wrong. We should open a Dunkin'.
Maybe we should open a Dunkin' here.
There's no two ways about it, you guys. Dunkin's iced coffee is so much better than Starbucks. Like, hands down, especially the cold brew. What do you think? This is a really important topic. Let's settle this in the comments. Which really is better for iced coffee? Is it Dunkin' or is it Starbucks? And if you're in your right mind, it's Dunkin'.
Christy Matt says, love Dunkin' iced coffee because I'm such a slow drinker and it doesn't matter when it's cold. That's true.
Now,
that's like the benefit of cold coffee is it doesn't get. That's the benefit to cold coffee, because I'm the same way. I drink my coffee slow and I find myself reheating it like 10 times until it tastes like burnt popcorn.
Do you know how many times I find Diane's coffee in the microwave the next day? Well, that night. It's like a half full coffee still in the microwave. So okay, if you're in an emergency and you there's no Dunkin', then your next best bet is Stoke, S-T-O-K, and they have Stoke iced coffee at, you can go on their website and check it out. And then one we've discovered, and this one's like a super secret, it's not for sale everywhere, but it's so good, is, what's the one, Diane? What's it called?
Cool brew.
Cool Brew. It's made in Nollins, and it's in this funky bottle. It's like you pour a shot and you mix it with water, but they have a mocha iced coffee with no calories, no artificial anything. Oh, Christy just messed it up. She just asked a real question. All right.
Have you ever had
Dutch Brothers may be better. Dutch Bros, bro. Dutch Bros may be better than Dunkin'. Ooh, that's a tough one. But Dutch Bros iced coffee is like $5.50 plus tax, whereas Dunkin' is like $3 plus tax. So
here's a little secret about
Dutch Bros is pretty good.
Want to hear Dutch Bros' secret?
Yeah.
So they've got a great business model where one of their employees that they have there that works the window and takes your order does not make any drinks. Their job is to sit there, and they're trained on how to ask you questions about your day, and they're supposed to give you a compliment every time, which is great. I always leave that place feeling like, oh, like I got so much attention. But if you are true, and don't abuse this secret, if you are truly having a bad day, they have a number. I'm not sure if it's 5, 10, 15, somewhere in there. But they have a magic number of coffees that they are supposed to give out to people for free each day if they come through and they find out that they're really having a bad day.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah, don't abuse it, because then it's that karma. What a lovely thing to offer. It's interesting you said how they're trained that way, because I always think, whenever I'm there, there's usually a line behind me, and like it's a college kid, he's like usually give me a compliment, like exactly what you said, and then usually Napa's with me, like, your tone's awesome, and I'm like, yay, this is so fun. But then I'm always like, I need to pull away, and this kid is still talking because I don't want to hold people up from getting their coffee. I feel bad.
This is about the process.
Yeah. Christy says we don't have them here, so it's Dunkin' for me. But if we're visiting somewhere that has it, we get it. Had the privilege of hearing the owner speak, and they provided us all free coffee at the conference. He was pretty rad. That's awesome. I'd like to go out after him. Everyone would be like all geeked up. They'd be like, zip, zip, zip.
Hi, Jase. What is
Christy, you did
like the white?
Huh?
They have some sort of white white coffee that's extremely highly caffeinated. Have you heard of that?
Nope. No.
It's like
so, hey, Christy's on. Christy Mast, would you like to be our guest for playing Pando on today's episode of the show? By the way, you guys, in the show notes, this game is so amazing. Well, should we have Diane's date update now, or when should we have Diane's date update?
My date update is pretty boring. Things are just going amazing.
Well, hold on. But before you do that, let's do this. Christy, would you like to be our guest for playing Pando on the show today? So, Diane, can you please send Christy the link? And then while that gives her time to join us on the show, Christy, if you're available, join us. It'll be fast. Doesn't matter how you're dressed or whatever. And if not, who else is watching that would like to be our guest to play Pando with us today? We'll send you the link. Okay, Christy's a yes, so we will play Pando with Christy today. And by the way, guys, we don't have socks to show you because I'm on the road, and we're working them to have a Black Friday special. So I know we have at least a discount code. So if you go in the show notes where you see the description of the show, the code is up there, and you can go to Sock Fetish's website and get 10% off with my code. It's like JaceFB1119. So like Jase, Facebook, and then November 19. And that'll get you 10% off. So the code's up there and everything. You just get it up top. They have some killer socks. You guys, people are loving these socks that we've been giving away. They're just tripping. So we're working on having a special next week. Hey, Christy's in. And next week on the show, we're going to talk about how to survive the holidays with your family. So some communication stuff. So Christy, welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome, Christy.
Christy, tell people about what you do. Introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hi, guys. So I'm Christy. My husband and I, Wes, we own a home inspection business that's based out of Delaware, but we serve Delaware, Maryland, and Pennsylvania.
That's cool. Wes and Christy are new black belts and beginning their journey with us. It's awesome. So we are going to do a round of Pando, and here's how we play it. It's super easy. There's a box of cards, and I'll just pull out 3 random cards, and then one will be for you, one will be for Diane, and one will be for me. So let's start with Diane. Diane, what card would you like? 1, 2,
I want the one in the middle.
or 3? Huh?
I want the one in the middle.
Okay, so Christy, we're going to guess if on these for Diane. So Diane, don't answer the question until Christy and I both guess. Here's the questions. Do you want to read them out loud?
Do I subscribe to the principles of astrology? And what do I set my thermostat at?
Ooh, good questions. So Christy, what do you think? What's your guess?
So it's a 2-part question, right? So 2 answers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 answers.
All right. So I will say yes to the first, and to the second, I'm going to say 71.
Ooh, I'm going to say yes to the first. And then for the second, I'm going to say at my house, Diane just comes over and freezes because I have it so cold. And at home, she's still got a vest on. I'm going to say in a perfect world, she would do 75.
All right. So number 1 is no.
Darn it.
But I do find it extremely interesting that my 2 daughters have very similar hearts, but extremely opposite personalities. And they were born exactly 6 months apart, one in February, one in August. And one was born at 3:30 in the morning and the other at 3:30 in the afternoon.
No way. They're both exactly 3:30?
3:30, yeah.
Were you like holding it? You're like, don't go, don't go. All right, 3:30.
Nope. That's just how it happened. That's just how it happened. So
I don't believe in astrology, but this is so hypocritical. But I do believe in astral cartography, where based on when you were born, they look at the magnitude and the lines of energy in the earth and tell you where to live. But that makes sense, but not astrology.
And as
Christy, which would you like?
Oh,
wait,
what's the temperature of the house?
I'm not allowed to touch the thermostat anywhere. So I wear long johns underneath my clothes all the time, including right now. But if I could, it would definitely be like a nice, cool 78.
78. You can touch the thermostat. So Diane works out of my house a lot. You can touch the thermostat of my house. And she's at her parents. Are your parents traveling right now? Is that why you're there?
No, they're not. They're at work.
Oh, okay.
But this was just closer to school and there's free food here. So I need to go grocery shopping. And it's Christmassy. Look, guys, Christmas tree.
It is.
Stockings.
Oh, I'm fully decorating next week. Oh, remind me when we do Diane's date update to tell you a story about Christmas decorations. So, Christy, would you like 1 or 2?
Let's do 1.
1. Here's your questions.
Okay.
Does she show? Go ahead, read them out so we can answer them.
Do I shop organic, and am I easily offended?
I think that you shop organic only in the instances where the organic one tastes better. And no, I don't think you're easily offended.
I think you sometimes shop organic, like maybe meat, but you're not like crazy, like you have to have everything organic. And I don't think you're easily offended.
I would be super offended if you guys thought I was easily offended. Just saying. No, just kidding.
Oh, I lost her. Is she frozen?
Oh.
It broke up. Say it again.
Okay, so I do not shop organic, and I know I am not easily offended.
Awesome. All right, I will read mine. I got to read what my mom is writing. Sorry, I'm turning red. I'm like so red right now. My mom wrote, last comment, my son really is an amazing and unique person. Certainly self-made because he's a lot to put aside. Thanks, Mom. You should read it, Diane, instead of me. Sorry, I get totally distracted by that. My mom's like commenting on my character, on my life. Wow, things couldn't get more awkward. Let's play Pando, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's make it more awkward.
What do I dread more? Going to a dentist or a doctor?
Dentist.
And then would I rather have a limited sushi for life or limited tacos for life?
Tacos.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to agree on that one. I'd say dentist and tacos.
Diane, how many times have I postponed seeing the dentist?
Okay, let me just clarify. My mom is the dentist. And he has not been to a dentist, I'm not going to say in how long, but longer than it should have been. And so I booked him an appointment at my mom's dental clinic. And the week of the appointment, he randomly decides he's going to go to an MIC event.
I had to. It was business training.
So I changed the appointment, and he comes back to town and he says, "Oh, you changed the appointment. I'm leaving to go somewhere where I have no contact, no cell, no internet during that week." So now the running joke in the dental office is that if I ever want Jase to leave town, I just need to book him an appointment.
What, am I a joke to you? That's funny. Christy, thank you for joining us on Speakeasy. We don't have socks to show you, but we will send you a killer pair of socks for joining us and playing Pando.
You will.
If any,
Facebook message me the address you want sent.
Okay.
And if you guys like Pando, you guys, I brought this to so many events. If you're a speaker and you're doing trainings, or like if you're marketing to realtors, if you could get just 10 minutes to play this game with people, they love it. You can sit around a table, and you could either use the code Jase on their website and you get 20% off. Basically, you could buy, they're $25, you get $5 off. And if you buy 5 sets, you get $5 off of each set. Or for a limited time, if you go on Amazon and you buy it and you write a review, you can message them on Instagram and they'll send you your money back because they want more verified reviews. Doesn't mean you have to give it 5 stars, but I think you will when you play it. So you could get it for free. So thanks to our friend Tom over at Play Pando who made this. So this is a Boise-based business. It was our sock pimps over at Sock Fetish.
One more thing. Was it sushi or was it tacos?
Oh, I didn't answer. Sushi for multiple reasons. One is
really?
Yeah. Well, because if you don't eat the rice, sashimi is like super healthy and it's keto, and I could eat that the rest of my. And if rolls are included, then I'd be happy eating that the rest of my life. And then also, like, sushi's way more expensive than tacos. I don't need no free tacos.
Okay. What if you took
I can afford tacos every day?
And it was just via taste.
Sushi.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, my mom just commented that I haven't read all of her comments. Little controlling there, huh? The thing clicked before I realized. So do pay attention. He has helped us more than I can say, as well as other things he's talked about, and I believe you would benefit greatly by listening to his advice. Yes, I'm extremely proud mother. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. My mom actually came to one of my seminars years and years ago. It was really cool and an honor to have her there. So now we are to the end of the show. Let's go.
Yes. One thing before we get to the end of the show, if you are looking into the Profit Factory, it is PROPHET profit, not PROFIT profit.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to some people about that, and they were confused which profit it was. So
yeah, there's really nothing to find actually, and we have teamed up with, well, not teamed up, I'm hiring a company who's building out. So a testament to our training, 99.9999999% of my business over the last 15 years has come from speaking. Still. And we're ready to go big and help a lot more people. So we're having websites built. So we're going to get Black Belt online. We're setting up our own membership site, which is super exciting. And we're going to have different tiers and levels and products available. Like Black Belts will get their own thing for each course. We're going to have free pre-event trainings hosted. We filmed Be Funny, Make Money. That's going to be online as a course. A lot of stuff is happening. It's very, very, very exciting. So you guys will see a bunch of changes coming. But in the meantime, there's not a lot to see online. So really the best way to connect is Facebook. And if you have questions, I have a bunch of people scheduling conversations with me to talk about Black Belt. So if you're interested in Black Belt or Dynamic Life, which is the personal growth event we do every January, we like to say new year, new you. Just ping us, send a message, put a text below the comments, whatever. Just get in touch with one of us and we'll set up a private one-on-one call with you and you can get all your questions answered and see if it's a fit to catapult your 2020. And it's still yes member.
Well, you know what I think it's time for, Jase?
What's it time for?
I think it's time for Jase's date update.
You mean Diane's date update?
Oh, Diane's date update's old news. That's all boring now. Let's hear about Jase's date update.
All right, we'll do Jase. Let's keep the segment called Diane's date update. So is there any new things with Sprinkle? What's new with Sprinkle?
I'm just happy. I'm happier than I've ever been before. It's wonderful.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. No, a man can't make you happy, right? But there's space for it. There's space to be happy. All right. So, as part of Diane's date update, I am in Houston and I am visiting Betsy, who you will see here. And Betsy and I are now a thing. And I just found out right before we went live, and I'm very impressed that I was able to concentrate on the live. I'm meeting the parents tonight. So that's going to be something.
Oh, is this going to is this a determining factor?
For me or for her? I don't think for either one of us.
Either
the
one
relationship's about us, not them. I mean, if they're total whack job, no, I don't think so either way. No, I don't think so. And if we're going to be having a relationship, I hope they like me. So,
yeah.
Anybody have any tips on meeting parents? Usually they tend to like me. There's just a bit of an age spread in this relationship, but I look pretty young, so we'll see. This reminds me of
a dad stare. I don't know if her dad will do it, but my dad does this thing where if he meets somebody I'm dating while they talk, he sits there like this.
What would be the best way to do that? Do I just do it back?
Just do it back. Just don't break eye contact. If you blink first, you're done. You just gave up all your relationship.
That reminds me of the kid that goes over the woman's house. Or girl's house, it's like they're 16, it's a first date, and she's upstairs getting ready, so he's sitting downstairs talking to the dad, and the dad says, come by yourself, son, blah blah, and the kid's got to rip a fart. He doesn't know. And the dog is sitting right next to the kid. The dog's kind of checking him out because he's new, and the kid lets one, but just the little one, and the dad looks at the dog and he goes, Duke! The kid's like, oh, he thought it was the dog. And then he lets another one go. And the dad's like, Duke! And the kid's like, oh, this is great. The dad thinks it's the dog. He's like, I'll just let it rip. So the kid lets it rip. He just does a big one. And the dad goes, Duke! Get over here before that boy poops on you. Probably an appropriate place to end this live.
I think that was perfect.
So if you're watching, please send up prayers. And also, I want to thank everyone who did pray, because I know there was a lot of people who were praying for me this last week. And there's so much more that I could share than I've shared. It was a place called Onsite, if you're curious about the name of the site, introduction to them. But a real miracle for me happened that there was so much of God present, and a lot of the other people in the class with me were strong believers. And that it really opened up the floodgates for me on a lot of things. And also just, they did these little extras. And like one of my passions in crafting an event, and I think that's my art, is putting together events, is I want to create moments that stick with people for a lifetime. Because one, it reinforces the learning, and if it's burned in their memory, then that way of being they felt during the event in a positive way will be burned in their memory. So we do that, and they did some things that were just beautiful moments. And I don't want to get too heavy at the end of this, but I'll just say this. I've shared on a different call that a client of mine had been murdered. And I think I've talked about this on one of the calls, Ginger. And so we did a labyrinth at one point. In labyrinth, you walk in through this maze thing, and it's about getting inside yourself. And then you walk out, and one of the practices walking out can be leaving something behind. And as I was leaving, I felt God said, I want you to forgive the guy that killed her. And so I grabbed a couple of my group mates that were in my small group, and we prayed, and I was able to forgive that guy and like really leave it there. And that was like, I felt so much lighter after that. And I really got I was holding that anger to protect myself from him. And I also got what God has done for me and the love he's shown and the sacrifice he's given. That really freed me from my own old chains of, just despair. And that maybe that guy went that way because no one showed him that kindness. And so I'm not saying that dude should be let out of jail, but I am saying we just need to show people more kindness and love and pass on that love. And that's what will make the world a better place. It's not going to come from kicking people's ass. So that's a great place to end.
How much we
Huh?
it's really amazing how much we hurt ourselves by not forgiving other people. It's that forgiveness for other people. It can seem hard at times, but by holding on to that stuff, you're just hurting yourself, and you gotta love yourself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Natalie just wrote, flat out giddy watching the watch party. And then she wrote, congrats on the new relationship. Saw that one coming a mile away in Vegas. All right, I need to go before all the blood leaves me from blushing. Love you guys. It's been awesome. Anything else? Anybody forgetting anything, Diane? Have I covered everything we're supposed to cover?
I think we covered it all.
Profit plan, another promo, another commercial. I have a thing I love doing, you guys. I get 10 businesses around a table, and for 2 days, I laser coach people one at a time. It's not a mastermind. There's a little bit of a mastermind aspect where we'll get a little bit of feedback, but I coach on your messaging, your movement, your money, what your product is, and what your ascension map looks like how your products, programs, coaching could and should look, and really your messaging. So you get that one phrase that gets you super excited and helps you crush sales. So we're doing it in December. We haven't set the date yet because I want to get a few people who are interested and agree on a date together. So if you're interested in Profit Plan, it's really reasonable in price. Just ping me, PM me, put a comment below that says Profit Plan, and we'll get you info. Now everything is covered, and I love you guys. It's been awesome, and I really missed you guys all last week. Missed you, Diane. Missed you guys watching, and I'll be flying home to Boise tomorrow and get to see the Napster. So it's going to be a good day. Yay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
We love you
Bye.
all.